But we got back to camp and we discovered this morning that the middle of the tent has bowed out. We did break both of the locks on both sides. All right, we have arrived. We are in the Valley of the Gods, which is south of Moab, about a couple hours. And it's like you're in nothing, 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 nothing. And then all of a sudden you see these giant mesas. And then all of a sudden you're going down between them. And then very suddenly there's a right-hand turn lane there's not even a right-hand turn lane. It just kind of cuts off. And you're in the middle of BLM land, I guess. So we just did a slight water crossing and we are looking to see if we're going to be able to make it with both vehicles. I don't see that this should be a problem, but if we have any issues, then we can always stop and pull over. But I'm going to get out and see. Mike's looking like we might need to talk about some options for campsites. So I will catch you up along the way. Good morning from Valley of the Gods. We got here a little bit late, about 7:30, and didn't get a whole lot of chance to film, but we found this fantastic spot. We're basically shielded by these cliffs, which we were looking for. We're looking for kind of a sheltered spot, mainly thinking about the wind. Well, we had a great night and woke up at probably 6:30 because we had all the windows open. It was so nice out last night, and we were stargazing through the roof. And so we just didn't close the windows again, so the light woke the toddler up early. So we kept waiting for it to get hot because that's what happened at the last spot. And it is now 9:38 and we're still shaded. This is insane. Like, I'm wearing a long sleeved shirt and I thought I was wearing a jacket for most of the morning because this jut of rock right here is like causing all the shade, which is amazing. So we're kind of taking a day off. We decided to stay here another day because the weather has been so pleasant so far. And we really feel like we love this spot. This is the first time we've really been out away from people, and we absolutely adore it. So I think we're gonna stay here another night. We might go into town today to get some more ice for the cooler and to check out a state park in the area. Probably do a little bit of reorganizing today, just kind of resettling in, because we had to shift a lot of the things that were in the cab of the truck to the cab of the Nissan so that we could take the truck on some roads, which ended up, we probably could have taken the Nissan on anyway. We ended up staying up until 1 a.m. with Jeff and Julie, not last night, but the night before. So we were both just zonked last night. Like, you could see the Milky Way here. We're like taking night pictures, and we're like we're barely staying awake to take the pictures. It was hilarious. So we're getting real grungy out here, but it's absolutely beautiful. These views cannot be beat. We are here at Goosenecks State Park, which is one of the only things to do around Valley of the Gods, which is some BLM land in southern Utah. We stopped here for really just a night, but we got here so late and it was so beautiful. We decided to stay for another day. So as we're playing catch up with getting things reorganized and folding laundry, we decided to pop out to get a few quick supplies like some ice and water, and then also to visit the local sites, which this is probably the smallest state park I've ever seen. It is basically an overlook, but it's $5. And it's cash only, so we scrounged around and found as many coins as we could find in order to pay the $5 entry fee. But the views really are spectacular. It is a gorgeous gooseneck, which is it took millions of years for this river to carve this meandering path. What is it called? A meandering enclosure? I think that's what that's called. But I mean, it's so deep. I wish there was a way to get to the bottom, because that would be beautiful, or to raft the bottom if you have kayaks and you could try to kayak this. That would be amazing. But we're gonna have to explore from the rim today. This is about the last thing we're probably going to do before we head back to camp, but we thought we'd take our time and appreciate these beautiful views and this quiet. Get in? That's as far as we go.
Whoa, do you want to touch the water?
We are back at camp after a long day. Not really that long actually. We went out to Mexican Hat and quickly found out there wasn't much there to do, so we did Goosenecks State Park. Very small but still very beautiful. And then after that we went and we found a boat ramp that had access to the river, which was so refreshing and cool. So we spent most of the afternoon kind of between those three things, or among those three things, grabbed some ice cream on the way back. It was just kind of a fun, casual kind of day. But we got back to camp and we discovered this morning that the middle of the tent has bowed out. So it doesn't sit in the groove, which I believe is a safety concern, because it's not going to be properly seated for us to sleep on it and to bear weight on it. So it's still screwed into both of the sides and to the ladder, so it's supported on the edges, but the middle where it's supposed to connect to the other piece is not in the right spot. And so what we're going to do is, we tried to go into town to look for clamps, they didn't have any. So instead we're going to close the tent and tap it with the mallet to try to bend it back into place so that it will seat properly in that groove. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so along this groove, it's seated properly here, and then it bows out in between. So as you can see, the ridge is not seated correctly, and it kind of tapers over there in the corner to be seated properly. Alright, so we just finished troubleshooting the tent. Thankfully, and frustratingly, it seemed like everything is fine. Like, we closed it and then opened it back up and it seated properly. So I don't know what the deal is. We did break both of the locks on both sides when we, like on the first day owning the tent. I broke one, Mike broke the other one. So we're even, but we do need to replace those. I'm wondering if that would keep that problem from happening again, but I'm not really sure. So we're just gonna be extra careful from now on, and just hopefully it doesn't happen again. I don't know what to tell you. Yes? Yeah, are you eating with your hands? Let's eat with your spoon, please. It will probably be a washing of the hair day as well.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Emma Grace.
I love you.
I love you too. We are in Garden of the Gods. Not Garden of the Gods. We're there too.